loud. That's going to be fine. And hopefully that's all with the waiting room here. What I might do is just turn off the waiting room in case people just start joining. Oh, there we go. Okay, waiting room is off, so people can just join here. Mute everybody one last time. All right, let's get started. So why would you want to use YouTube? Two things. First and foremost, D2L caps the size of your uploads, any upload, including videos, files, or whatever, at 1 gigabyte. Normally speaking, that's not a big deal when it comes to documents and things like that, and images and so on and so forth. But videos can and have tendencies to go above 1 gigabyte, depending on various things, what you're using to record, what you're doing in the recording, those kinds of things. So the workaround that we suggest to combat that is to upload to YouTube. YouTube doesn't cap your uploads. They don't, you know, they're built to provide videos in good quality, and the various codecs that they have running, generally speaking, can be viewed by most students and most browsers relatively easily. I mean, that's what YouTube does. It does video. So in general, you might want to use it to do that. To actually make it so that your videos are not reliant on D2L's player as well, because D2L, their video player, although good, can sometimes be a little wonky depending on what browsers people are using, what plugins and everything, and YouTube is just a little bit more robust. Additionally, if you're someone that wants to track the number of specific views of your video, that kind of thing in sort of an aggregate format, YouTube would allow you to do that through its analytics. D2L, the most you can sort of do by tracking analytic wise is to see whether or not a given student has clicked on said video, but you're not going to get like watch data for that video or anything like that. YouTube would give you that sort of, you know, how much, what's the average amount of length my viewers have seen this video and stay, you know, engrossed in it, that kind of thing. So all of those things are reasons why you would generally want to upload your videos to YouTube and then embed them in D2L. And by embedding them in D2L, you're more or less still keeping the student in D2L. They're watching the video as if it's in D2L. It's just not. It's a window into the YouTube area. So you do avoid, by embedding it into D2L, you avoid them from seeing, like, you know, getting distracted by all the YouTube stuff all over the place. For example, if we look here, like if we just click on a video, you know, embedding it would remove like all this stuff on the right-hand side, like all the comments and everything like that. They would just see the video. So that's also sort of a benefit in terms of embedding rather than just linking to that YouTube video in your course. So in terms of creating your YouTube account, so I don't know exactly how long ago it was, before I started using YouTube, that's for sure. Google bought YouTube. Okay, they bought them out, and so a Google account is essentially a YouTube account now. When you are ready to sort of create your account, if you have a Google account already, you already have a YouTube account. But you can create a Google/YouTube account with your Shippensburg email address. And if you haven't already created one yet, like you don't have a personal Gmail account that you want to use, or if you just want to do it with your Shippensburg account, you can. And we kind of recommend that you do, especially for videos that you're going to be showing to your students and those kinds of things. But it's entirely up to you what account you utilize. Just understand that students generally, when they look at the video, it's going to show whose video that is. So if it is your video and it's your channel, they may very well could find your email address or those kinds of things, your personal email address. So just do keep that in mind moving forward. Okay. Sorry about that. Anyway, let's review here. If I go back to google.com here. So like I was saying, if you're going to sign into Google the first time or sign into YouTube, you can either go to youtube.com or you could go to google.com. Either way, you're going to choose in the top right-hand corner, there's going to be a sign in option. And when you click on sign in, it's going to give you a list of Google accounts if you've already signed in that you want to use, or use another account option here. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and just show, because we're talking about how to create a YouTube account. I'm going to just start from the beginning, but this is the account that we utilize to do our YouTube uploads for Shippensburg. So I will be signing into that after this. So for now, we're just going to click on use another account. From here, it's going to give you a couple options. It's going to give you another account if you want to log into that you've created, but you don't actually have a list of like we had previously. Or down at the bottom here, there's going to be a create account option. If you go ahead and click create account, you have two options here: to manage my business, to manage for myself. Just do for myself. Okay. From there, you're going to set up your Google account. Okay, you're just going to give a test account here. I'm going to use Scott Ship Test. And I'm going to use, this is where you designate if you want to create a Gmail account, you can. Or if you want to use my current email address instead, that's also an option. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's use my current email address instead. And this is where you would type in your Shippensburg email. So I'm just going to use id@ship.edu as the email address. And then you set your password here. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and use my LastPass to generate a password and paste and paste. Okay. And I'm going to hit next. So now there's going to be a verification email sent to you to that email address, and you're going to have to go ahead and enter that to verify the account. I'm not going to go ahead and do this because to access that account, I have to sort of do stuff on the other side. I have to log into it and everything. But suffice to say, you will receive an email in your account with a verification code. You go ahead and enter that verification code and hit verify. Okay. And then that will generate you your Gmail account. Once you're done, once that account has been generated and you've entered your verifying account and everything, what's going to happen is you're going to be then able to log into Google. So for example, I'm going to log into IDWT here. I'm just going to click on IDWT. I'm going to enter my IDWT password, which is way down here, and hit next. Okay, so now I am logged into Google. We know that because in the top right-hand corner, I can see my Google account icon here, and I'm in as IDWT Ship. And now I can actually access YouTube. If I click on this little checkered box to the left of that icon, it'll bring up the Google Apps, and YouTube is listed as an app available under your Google account. If I click on that, it's going to take me to YouTube, like so. And it'll be, again, still under my Shippensburg Instructional Design account, okay? If you haven't generated your YouTube, if you haven't clicked on that before, it may take a moment for it to actually create your YouTube account. But in general, it's very quick. You won't really even notice it, okay? But now that we've actually gotten signed in, we're logged in, everything is great and groovy, we can now, just from here, if we want to, upload a video, okay? There's this little icon right here. Looks like a camera with a plus sign in there. If I click on that, it'll give me the option to upload a video. So I just do that, hit upload video. This will take me into the YouTube Studio. It's their sort of platform for uploading videos and everything, and it gives you all of the back end stuff that you want to use. If I close this out, I can always access the YouTube Studio if I want to, just by clicking on my account icon in the top right-hand corner and going to, where am I at here? Because I'm already in it. Let's say I'm back at YouTube. If I click on YouTube Studio from my icon. So rather than clicking on the upload button here, I could click on this, my name, my icon, and click YouTube Studio to be taken into my dashboard for YouTube, where I can check out all of my videos, create playlists, and those kinds of things. I still then would click on the create button in the top right-hand corner here. Okay, and again, click upload videos. So it's the same screen, sort of the same sort of process, but just different little pathways. Once I'm ready, once I'm at this screen where it's asking me to upload videos, the next step is to locate the video that you want to upload on your computer, wherever that may be. I have a test video here that I'm going to use. It's very short. This video is only 6 seconds long. We're going to use that because there is a catch with uploading to YouTube, speed. Okay, so if you're doing this on campus, really fast, no matter what the video length is. It can be 5 minutes or so if you're on campus, depending on the size of the video. I've seen videos go pretty fast on there that are like over 1 gigabyte and so on and so forth. If you're at home, the upload speeds are generally a lot worse on home internet connections. Even if you have a very high download speed, upload speeds are really slow generally. So do keep that in mind if you're uploading at your house to anything, even to D2L or YouTube. It'll take some time for that upload to process, okay? So for this demonstration, I'm using a very short video. I'm gonna go ahead and dump that in here by dragging and dropping. Alternatively, I could select files and go through the same sort of file exploration that we've seen in other sort of upload steps. But I'm partial, as always, to dragging and dropping the video or a file like so. So that's going to process on the YouTube side. I generally, so this is the part that would sort of take a while. So that went really fast because it's a very small file, very short file video. This is the part that will take a while to go. You'll go through the upload speed. So it's going to start uploading the video. Then it's going to transition to what you're seeing now with processing. And processing is YouTube doing, the video's been uploaded to YouTube. YouTube is starting to process that video. Until you see processing down here, you do not want to close this website. You don't want to close this web page. You don't want to close out of here, okay? Because until it's processing, the video is still uploading from your computer, and you can disrupt that upload if you close out of these programs. So once you see that processing is happening, then you can close out of everything, go get, take a break, do whatever, or however you want to do it, shut your computer off and come back and edit things once it's been processed. You could certainly get out of the room, leave and everything while it's still uploading, but you want to leave your computer on and this web page open until processing happens. Okay. Once it's complete, once everything is done, you'll see processing high def version and SD complete. Okay. You may see processing SD complete, where it's still trying to process the high definition part if you've uploaded a high definition video. But if you didn't, you'll see that. So those are the steps. So right now, everything's been finished. So we finished the standard definition, we finished the high definition upload. Once you see this, everything is good to go. Everything is done. You do have the options of changing settings and everything when you're uploading it during this initial process. I can change various different things, some details, some video elements, visibility, that kind of thing. I always wait until this step, until everything is finished and processed before I even edit anything about my video. The reason being, depending on the size of your video and the length of time it takes to upload said video, YouTube has been known to just fail uploads, okay? Or at least in my experience. It doesn't happen often. It's rare, but it can happen. And the longer the video is taking to upload, the more chance of that occurring. So I always wait. I don't go through like setting anything up until a video is fully uploaded and I know it's actually at least processing, that kind of thing. So I just would generally recommend to upload. Once it's finished processing, then make all of your edits to the video title and description and so on and so forth. Before we get into those actual settings, now that we've got it uploaded, are there any questions on what we've seen so far?
I have a question, Scott.
Yep.
This seems to be for uploading your own videos, your own MP4s. Mm-hmm. Is that what you're showing us how to do?
Correct.
So how would it be different if we wanted to upload something from YouTube?
So we'll get to that part.
Okay.
The process to actually upload a video that's not yours will
Right.
be the end process of this.
Okay.
Yep, the embedding process. Okay, so once you've gotten your video uploaded, all right, the thing you can then do is change settings and everything. What I generally do, like I said, is I wait till processing finishes. I close this out at that point. I just close it out, okay? Because there's some things within that initial setup window that you can't really modify, and they wait anyway. And so what I do is I close it out, and then now that I'm ready to edit it, it's completed, it's available, you can see it up here, test video. I'm gonna go ahead and just click on that video, like so. Brings up this video, or brings up the editing area again. I can give it a name, test video uploaded. Okay, that's required. I can give a description if I want, although if you're embedding this video in D2L, it's not necessary. They're not really gonna see it. Most of the settings from here on out, you don't necessarily need to do if you're embedding the video. They're more of if you're like, you know, really wanting to make these public, or, you know, get comments and those kinds of things, which we're not going to waste too much time on talking about in this sort of situation. The only settings that we'll talk about in regards to like what is needed specifically is you know, the title here. This option down here, who is this video for? Kids or not? I would generally say, no, it's not made for kids. The reason being that when you say, yes, it's made for kids, there are different, YouTube generally uses different algorithms and things for searching and so on and so forth for this video. So if you at all think at some point in the future, you might want to make this public and make this a resource open to people outside of D2L, I would just leave it as it's not made for kids, okay? There's no real downside to it. All it is just, you know, adults. It's just, you know, your students are adults, those kinds of things. This is mainly there for actual grade school kids. If the content is specifically catered to them, they, you know, limit ad usage on the video, they limit searchable stuff and those kinds of things. So it's more or less on YouTube's end, but it is required that you do one or the other when you're setting up a YouTube video. From there, what you want to do is just go to next. You have the option of adding cards, but it's not necessary. Cards allow you to promote other content in your library of your YouTube channel. So if you have a lesson that's while you're talking during the video, you're referencing something you said last week in another video, you could add a card to link to that video at that specific time in the YouTube video. So that's one thing you can do. There are a number of things. So you can link to a video, you can link to a playlist or another channel altogether. Okay. If you hit next, the visibility is the last thing that I will talk about in terms of setting up the videos in YouTube. Depending on what you want out of visibility and like making it public or not public, those kinds of things, it's entirely up to you. What we generally recommend for the majority of faculty is that you set it to unlisted. All right. What unlisted means is that anyone with the video link can watch it, but it's going to be not visible publicly. Like people can't search for it. They're not going to be just able to happen upon it while watching other YouTube videos on that topic. Okay. Private is only you as the creator can view that video. So unless you know, only use this if you don't want anybody to view it. Okay. Use this if you want just your students in the class that you're going to embed this link into to view the video, and that's it. If you want to make it an open source, sort of like visible to resource for everybody to sort of search and come upon and watch, public would be the route you could take. Okay. Otherwise, I'm just going to go ahead and keep it unlisted, and we're going to hit save. So that's it. It's now uploaded to YouTube. It gives me this option, you know, we can share a link, again, the embed code, or it gives me the video link right here and now. I can click this little button right here to copy the video link, boom, to my clipboard, or I could copy this or highlight it like so, and copy it this way. Either way, you're copying it to your clipboard on your computer that you can then paste. All right. Once I have this copied, I can come back to D2L, click on my D2L open one here, and I can go to my content area. Okay. I'll look for on the left-hand side under table of contents, I'll look for the module that I want this video to appear in. So for this one, I'm going to go to week 3 and click on week 3. And I'm going to choose upload and create from my options here. Under upload create, I have an option to do video or audio. I'm going to click video or audio. And from there, we're going to just paste our YouTube link like so. All right, it's going to give me a short little preview. I can play the video and see what, if it's got sound, if it's working, so on and so forth. Excellent. I can even change the title of that YouTube video as it would appear in D2L. So this one is actually called test video uploaded, but maybe I don't want my students to, I don't want to label that as a topic title in my class here. Maybe I want to do week 3, can't remember what week we're in. Week 3, okay. Week 3 video assignment, something like that, and hit save. So now my video is here. You can still see that it is, has that original title of the video, but I now have another title for my actual topic content. But it can then be played right from within YouTube, within D2L. That's the general process that you would use for any YouTube video, even the ones that you, especially the ones that you upload yourself. Okay, so I'm going to pause here for questions. Misty, if we are uploading from our phone or other device, what extra steps are necessary? Misty, I will say that I've never really utilized the mobile function feature of YouTube. I believe it's similar, but I'll have to get back to you on that. I generally avoid utilizing mobile devices to do any sort of content creation as a personal preference because of the smaller screen and sometimes limited functionality. But I know full well that people do upload via the mobile browser or mobile app in YouTube, and it's certainly possible, but I've never personally tried it. Kelly, I'm interested in closed captioning for videos. Okay, so we're going to transition to some additional things that YouTube provides you, including closed captioning and sort of a subtitle generation. A lot of video sort of platforms now do provide that service, but they're never always 100%, obviously. But they do exist and they can be turned on and they can be edited in YouTube. So if I had uploaded, in our case scenario here, I have a video uploaded to YouTube and maybe I want to enable subtitles for this video because right now I have no subtitle options down here. If I go back to my YouTube channel, okay, I locate my video section on my channel dashboard here. And I choose this one. This is the one we just uploaded. I'm going to click on it to again be taken into the video details and so on and so forth. On the left-hand side here of your menu, you've got details, analytics, you got your editor here, you got comments, you got subtitles. There's an option for subtitles. Let's go ahead and click on that. In general, YouTube's going to generate a subtitle list for you automatically, all right? This is done through the AI on YouTube's end. It's going to look at what you're saying and try to splice, put in words into the subtitle list that best matches what you're saying and try to do it. It's not 100% accurate by any means, but if you're looking to create transcripts or get, captioning done quickly for your videos, YouTube is a great resource to use for that. And what you can also do is you can edit these things. So you can check to see how they look or sound or read. If there is any area that needs to be sort of corrected, you can. If we go to add, we can upload a file, transcribe, and create new subtitles. It's worth noting that this is not a instant process, okay? You'll wonder why there's no option here for us. It's because it doesn't happen instantly. They don't actually transcribe videos instantly for videos that have just been uploaded. If we go back to one of my other videos that we have on this channel and take a look at, say, the Scheduling Faculty One-on-One video, and I go to subtitles, we have an automatic subtitle one published. Okay, so if you just uploaded your video and you don't have this just yet, give it a little time. YouTube will process that and get that uploaded quickly or soon after. It depends on how long the video is, how much processing is happening on YouTube's end, and so on and so forth. I was hoping that the 6-second video would be pretty quick, but clearly it wasn't. If I wanted to take a look at this video and take a look at the actual subtitles here, all I would have to do is click on Options, Edit on Classic Studio. This will allow me to actually edit these options here. So I can click on Edit. And now I can go through and edit my transcript, my running captions for this video based off of what was caught by YouTube's AI. It can be time consuming if you want to do it. It's really if you want to just fix some of the off words and the sort of make it 100% proper. But it does pretty well for a general AI initiated thing. And for long videos, it is a definite time saver to actually typing out your own and sort of transcribing it on your own time. So it's up to you how you want to do that, but it is able to be done here. If I wanted to save these little changes that we made, I can hit Save Changes. And so now I have two options that are published. I have the automatic one and I have the English one, the one that we just edited. All right. And by default, it's going to go with whatever option you've edited. Even though it says that the English automatic one is published, it's going to show the one that you edited as opposed to the automatic one that YouTube created. Okay. If I wanted to download these, okay, I can download them and view them as a text file. So if I would go back a screen here, keep going back until I get, all right, let's go back this way. If I go back here, I'll refresh that. If I click on, say, the automatic one and click download, this is going to download an SBV file. It's just a text file. What I've generally done is I've opened this as a notepad or a text editor. Okay, so it's just opening in Notepad. If you've never opened one of these files before, it'll probably ask you what do you want to open it as. And I always, like I said, I open with, let's go, well, I don't have, there it is, open with Notepad. Okay, and this will allow you to sort of like edit it in a text-based format style or save it offline and maybe create a transcript, a downloadable transcript for your students using this method as well. All right, so if we were going to do that, if we wanted to take this as sort of a transcripty thing, this is really quick and dirty. Normally, you probably wouldn't want to sort of like, you know, you want to delete these things, but you don't necessarily have to, and actually make it into a transcript of the entire like the video. But what you can do is you can save this as, let me go up here to my training files, captions, it can be a text file, sure, and hit save. And then just close out and close out. So if I come back to my training files here, I now have a caption transcript essentially that I can upload to YouTube or to D2L to have this to supplement for my course, for my video, if people want to download it. Because in general, if they look at a video, okay, so if we would look at this view on YouTube, this video would be able to be toggled to be captioned, okay? And this would be the same if this was embedded into my D2L course as well. I could toggle captioning on or off if they're available, and that's finished processing and everything to be there. But if I wanted to also add like a downloadable transcript or something along those lines, I could just add that as sort of a, you know, a file attachment down here. You know, upload, insert stuff. and hit shared files or course offering files or locate the file on my computer. So if we would do that, just grab you, paste you, hit upload, and so on and so forth. So that's a sort of a quick way of getting transcripts in there. I will say that the SBF file format will be the same. So if you really wanted to do it, you most likely would want to copy that file in the notepad and put it into a Word document and save that as opposed to making the text file available. So just an FYI on that. Aside from that, that's pretty much in a nutshell, those kinds of things. In terms of other things that we might want to look at here, I do have on my list of editing. So YouTube does give you the option of editing and chopping up your video if you want. I know this has come up quite a bit in terms of I've had requests for this and so on and so forth. So if you are interested in editing a video, trimming it, I mean, it's very basic, but you can trim video and save it that way. If you come back to your YouTube studio in YouTube, and you go to your video that you want to edit, I'm going to go to my test video because it's short. There is, under your video details here, there's an editor option, okay? If you click on editor, it'll bring up your YouTube video, a preview of what it's doing, and it'll give you this sort of like running timeline of your video that you can choose from various different starting points. This option right here called trim, if I click on that, I now have the ability to split my little designation right here. So if I click on split, it's going to give me an option to like black out or cut content from this video. Okay, so I can do that. I can put it wherever I wanted to start. I can sort of slide it from left to right and choose where I want to cut this video. If I wanted to add another cut somewhere, I just choose my starting point with this little marker. I hit split again. And now I can sort of cut and paste, or not cut and paste, but cut the various little blips of content that I want. So we can preview this then. If I go ahead and put my starting position down here, I can just hit play. And you can see it jumps over the black part. Okay. Alternatively, I could hit preview and it will just sort of run through that in general. Okay. So once that's done, once you've had it sort of, you know, finalized and what you want to cut and everything, and again, the area grayed out or black is the part that's going to be removed from the video, you can hit save. Okay. It's going to give you this warning here. It may take a few hours depending on the size of the video. Again, this is because you're basically recreating, you're rendering a brand new video in YouTube. Okay. You're not, it's not going to be a quick process. You're cutting content and then re-rendering, resaving that file. So that same sort of processing, back-end processing thing is going to have to happen again. The good news is YouTube tells you viewers will still see the current version of this video while it's being processed, and you won't be able to make any other changes to the video while it's being processed. Okay. If you're okay with that, just hit save. And it'll give you this thing, video is being processed, please check back later. And I can go ahead and just start going all over. I can go back to D2L, I could go back to my YouTube, I could upload a different video. Eventually, that's going to be finished, and my old video is going to be replaced with my new edited video in terms of viewing. You'll still have access to that old, you know, entire video on YouTube, but what people will see will be the edited version of that. Okay. And so that is a good way of sort of chopping and cutting video within YouTube. It is also something that's not really, it is not available in Zoom. So if you do like save a video on Zoom, cloud recording and everything, if you want to trim it, if you want to edit it, my recommendation would be to download that video off of their servers, upload it to YouTube, and then trim it this way that we just saw. Alternatively, we do have access to like Adobe Premiere and, you know, there are various other video editing tools that you can sort of do that all with before uploading it to YouTube if you want to go that route. But YouTube does provide sort of a quick quick way of editing videos and chopping out content that you don't want the students to see. Case scenarios would be if you're doing a session like we're doing here today, if you record the intros, or there's like a lull or something, you take a break and you forget to pause the recording or stop the recording, you might want to cut those sort of areas out of the video.
Scott, a question. When you were showing us the trim, it didn't actually show us what video you were cutting out. Is that just because your test video didn't actually have any video footage? Because it seems like when you're trimming, you're going to want to be able to see what you're trimming out, right?
Yeah, you didn't actually see that? So I'll just go into this video here. Like whenever you select a position that you want to trim, it does show the preview of what's being trimmed up here.
Okay, now I see it. Okay.
Yeah, so if I click on trim and I move, if I click split and now I move my little, what I want to see.
I see. Okay.
I just move where my starting point is, and I can then look to see what's actually going to be trimmed.
Right. Okay. I was looking for an actual like moving film video.
Yeah, it's not as like whenever I edit videos, like videos that I upload here, I do so in Adobe Premiere because it's a little bit more robust in terms of its editing capabilities. But if you're just like, this is a quick way. Adobe Premiere is Adobe product that is pretty in depth in terms of what you're doing. And this works just fine if you're just trying to trim certain things off. But yeah, the interface is kind of a little sometimes wonky here. But yeah, as you can see, as I'm moving this, it does change, that preview video. And I can play it in real time if I want to. You're not going to hear it because I don't have share sound on, but I can do it that way as well to see what I'm trimming.
Okay.
Okay. Clear. Any questions on trimming or editing the videos in YouTube?
And you said you would just take the Zoom link and then just basically insert that in by just the same way you did your test video if you wanted to edit a Zoom file?
Yeah, so if you want to use Zoom, what we've generally been recommending now is, so let me just grab a video link here somewhere. There, this one's on the Zoom cloud. So if I wanted to share this link, for example, in my YouTube, in my D2L setting, I just hit copy shareable link. And then I would go back to D2L and do upload, create a link. Okay, and then give a title. This is Zoom session 1, and then paste the URL. Because of browser issues right now, you want to select open as external resource for Zoom stuff when you're sharing that, just because it's not going to sort of play in Spot anymore with the embedding function with Zoom.
But I mean, when you want to edit a Zoom before you insert it into your D2L course content,
oh,
edit a Zoom file, you said you would just put it into YouTube and edit it there, right?
That's correct. I thought you said to get that into D2L.
No, I've been doing that, but my limitation was Zoom only lets you cut the beginning or the end. It doesn't let you do any splicing in the middle.
Correct. That is, yeah, I should have mentioned that. That is why it's a little not complete there in Zoom.
If you wanted
but yes,
to splice Zoom, you would have to move it into YouTube, splice it, then put it into D2L.
Correct. And the way you would do that is you would just come to your Zoom recording dashboard here. Again, you can access that by opening up your Zoom desktop dashboard here and go into your meetings tab, locating the meeting you want to grab, and just hitting open. That's going to take you directly into where you can get that file. And what I would do is I would just take, this is just the MP4 file, the video file. And so I would just download this one like so, which will give me an MP4 file. If I show that in place, show in folder. And then I'm going to just drag and drop this into my training files. Boop. So this is the thing I just downloaded. Once I have that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to YouTube. I'm going to upload again, create, upload video, and drag and drop that MP4 file in there. And then we go through that YouTube upload process. Once it's done, then you can start editing that video in YouTube.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. But yeah, thanks for clarifying. Like I said, we recommend editing in YouTube versus Zoom, and the reason is it's not complete. You can't sort of splice those center areas. You can just do cutting end or beginning or something like that. It's not as robust.
And are you able to splice YouTube videos that aren't yours?
No, because that's a content creator tool.
Right.
What you can do is if you can set that start time. You can create the link so that it starts at a specific period of time, but that's about it.
Okay.
Okay. If you trying to think of, yeah, I mean, there really is no way to splice those, unfortunately. I mean, because you would need to access the actual original file. So, I mean, in theory, you could reach out to the content creator and see if they would do that, but doubtful. But, you know, that's the only, that would be the only thing. There are indirect ways of doing it, but not something I would be comfortable with, like recording.
What I have found, at least in the spring, was I had a number of DVD videos that I wanted to show my class, but when I tried to show them just by running my DVD player alongside my computer, the Mac DVD player would not play them. It would just give a blank gray screen. It would play sound, but it wouldn't play the video. And it seemed to be some kind of copyright issue. Even though I own the video, it seemed to not allow you to play it. And so what I found myself doing was going to YouTube and just finding someone who, you know, had put up a YouTube of that very, you know, documentary that I wanted to show. And so that's how I was able to do the workaround. Even though I had the actual DVDs myself, it wouldn't allow me to play them.
I would probably still recommend that you do that if you can find a YouTube video of the documentary that you're trying to view and put that in your course. But what you described with the Mac DVD player is a known issue. And the only thing I couldn't find legitimate documentation from Zoom that that's what was happening, but that was my first guess. There are ways around that. If you download VLC player, you can play the DVD through VLC player and the video would show up there. It's just something with the Mac DVD player, the built-in Mac DVD player, that doesn't project video through Zoom.
Right. Okay.
And Jamie confirmed that on campus computers, the default player they use is VLC.
Right. Yeah, I tried VLC and the quality of the playback is much worse than the Mac DVD player. So I don't know why, but it just was.
That is something that was something early on back in March that we dealt with. And yeah, the only workaround with playing DVDs that I found was a VLC player worked pretty good in terms of projecting. But just from a standpoint of, unless you're really wanting to show that during class, I would still do the YouTube route with that video if you can find it. Just because it'll come clear. There's no like latency, there's no speed upload, all that stuff is out of the question. They're just watching it on their end on YouTube.
Right. Okay. But that you can't edit that.
Correct.
Just the start time, right?
The most you can do is set a specific start time of the video that you wanted to start at.
Can you show us how to do that?
Yeah, so if I go to, let me open up my YouTube video that I had from earlier. This thing. If I wanted to set this up as a link, if I want to create a link to have it start at a certain time, I could click share. And there's this option at the bottom, start at 41:53. Go ahead and click on that and make sure that wherever I want it to start is where I'm currently viewing it, or just add in a time stamp here. And then I can just copy that there. And if I copy that and paste this into my course, it's going to start for the students at the timestamp that I wanted to start at. Okay. Jordan, you asked, we have access to Adobe Premiere as faculty through Creative Cloud. That is correct. So Creative Cloud, you can download Adobe Premiere. Margaret, can students hear and see the video from your computer as well as you can? Audio comes through pretty well. It's the video that can sometimes be a little choppy.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the caveat. Audio though usually comes through pretty well when you're basically streaming the video from YouTube through Zoom during a live session.
Okay. All right.
If you're recording it, you're not like you're in there by yourself and you're recording a lecture or something, and you want to play a YouTube video during that recording, it will record just fine.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Good.
It's just, yeah, if you're sharing real time to a live audience, so to speak, in Zoom, that's where the choppiness comes in. But a live, like just a recording, it's going to take what you're seeing and just record that. So.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
I think my question, actually, you maybe just answered. I just wanted to clarify. So sometimes I have short video clips that I've embedded in PowerPoint, and as I'm giving the lecture, which I've recorded and uploaded, I play those clips, and it's your experience those come through okay, typically?
Yeah. Yeah. So when you're playing live, is what I'll refer to it now. When you're sharing a video live, it is taking into consideration your connection speed, your upload speed, Zoom's traffic and everything. So generally, if you're sharing a YouTube video during a live session, the sound is going to come through on time and as you would hear it as the instructor, but there might be a little delay with the video. It might be a little choppy. It might not be as good quality from the student perspective. It just depends on your connection speed, essentially. If you're doing it on campus, it's going to be fine normally, because campus's connection speed is really good with that upload speeds and everything. But home connection, there may be a little delay and those kinds of things that you want to do. And I can illustrate that probably if I actually have a video to illustrate that with. Let me go try to get a YouTube video with actual sound.
So students will always say, something's happened with my computer and I can't hear and I can't see, or they might, if they say this, is that them or is it me?
Say that again, Margaret.
If a student says, oh, I can't see this, and my computer isn't doing very well, or this isn't doing very well, it's always vague, it's going vague. Is that can be something on their end rather than my end that's a problem?
If you're sharing live video, it might be both. It might be on your end, it might be on their end.
Okay.
It might be just the time of day. I mean, there's a bunch of variables there. If you're getting emails or something that a video is not playing in D2L for them, but it plays for you, then it may very well be something on their end. They could have a browser plugin that's interfering with D2L's ability to show the video. Okay. It could be, various things like that.
Yeah.
One of the ways to avoid those kinds of issues is to actually have the video in YouTube, because YouTube, their player is a little bit more robust and a little bit better at sort of ignoring those kinds of plugins and other issues that can come from browser incompatibility.
Okay, great.
So as an example, I'm gonna share my screen again. Let me see. I'm gonna share my screen again, but this time I'm gonna use the share computer sound option. So just to give you a little idea, I mean, I don't know, it may very well, I don't know how the quality is going to be, but you can sort of see what I've been talking about here. So I'm gonna share this Ned Flanders' Greatest Moments. I'm gonna turn the volume a little bit down.
And all his wizard friends went straight to hell for practicing witchcraft.
Well, circle cut my bacon. Look at all these Yankee doodly dandies. Is there another Vietnam going on?
Hello.
So what you might have noticed on your end is a little choppy video. Whether it's noticeable or not, it's dependent on how the connections are at the time of playing. But in general, it's not too bad. but I do always try to convey that there is some choppiness whenever you're doing that.
It's pretty good for me.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't notice it that much. It's just sometimes it can be a little choppy.
So if I'm going to incorporate a little video clip in, say, a Zoom recording I make and then share with my students, should I always turn on that share computer audio?
Yes. Well, yeah, I mean, if you're recording something and you're going to play a video or anything that's audible on your computer, you should always check that option, because this option says I want to share what's coming through my speakers to my students. So anytime you want to share as part of your presentation include audio, you're going to want to share computer sound as well. This option is also useful if you're sharing video, which I didn't actually even use when I was sharing the YouTube clip there for Ned Flanders. But if you are sharing video, you'd also want to optimize your screen too. Okay. Any other questions? We pretty much covered everything that I wanted to, that I have listed here. Is there anything that you're curious about? We have a few more minutes before we transition to the next session.
Is there a reason why you wouldn't want to share computer sound?
Well, yeah, I mean, depends. I mean, if you're recording or something and you don't want your sound to be shared for whatever reason, notification.
Is it like muting yourself?
Well, it would be muting your desktop, the stuff coming out of your speakers. It's not going to mute your mic or anything like that. It's just, you know, if you have something on your computer that it's a notification ding, or, you know, a video starts playing automatically that you don't want to be played right away or something like that.
That will show up if you share the sound.
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, I don't think it's going to be that bad if you always check that, but because it can be missed if you're expecting to share video at any point during your presentation. But, you know, you never know what happens if you open up a browser or something and video starts playing automatically on a video or something and it's just blaring and those kinds of things. So normally what I would do is I would make sure that my sound is actually set so it's not like jarring whenever it starts for my audience. And then I would share the sound and start playing the video. Alrighty, well, we're gonna go ahead and put a pause in our presentation here and retool for the next session, which I think is universal design and best practices. So feel free, if you're interested in that, stick around to this session. If not, we have other sessions going on, and I will be back here momentarily as I retool for the next presentation.
Scott, can you give just a little quick overview of what you're going to be talking about?
Yeah, so with universal design, I'm just basically going to go into best practices in D2L specifically to make your course more accessible from the get-go. For all students, not just students that have accommodations. Best practices that you can do right off the bat just to make it more accessible to all students.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.